they speak.
And at the depths of Satan is thinking that this is spiritual Satan with the red man with the pitchfork. No, it's the so-called white man. Yeah, it's 2 Corinthians 11 and 14. But the not knowing the depths of Satan, which Satan is himself, he is a spiritual Satan, but also the physical Satan, which is here, which is the devil, which is the so-called white man. So not knowing the depths of him.
Not knowing the depths. Yeah. And many, okay, and which have not known the depths of Satan as they speak.
As they speak.
That's really Satan's talking.
Yep. And being into all these false religions and our people fall in all these so-called white men believe in all these doctrines, and which really it's the doctrine of Satan.
1 Corinthians 2:14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into the angel of light.
Into an angel of light. Caesar bonjour. And no marvel, don't be amazed that Satan, so-called white man, the devil,
will put himself up as the image of
yeah, would put himself up as the image of Jesus. That's right. All these new Bibles, these picture Bibles, all these biblical things, it's all back to the Renaissance period. And it's all white people. It should be all blacks and brown people. So no marvel can Satan himself make himself a minister of light. Go ahead.
And no marvel, for Satan himself transformed into the angel of light.
You could probably read more on that, Corinthians. It's like 2 verses.
2 Corinthians 11:13. For such are false apostles.
Or such are false apostles. People are just coming up with lies after their own heart.
Deceitful workers.
Deceitful workers. Like Bubble Eye Blackfish, Comfy, Nathaniel 7.
Transform, Prophet Fagway.
Yep, that's right.
Transforming themselves into the apostles of Mashiach. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed.
Again, Caesar bonjour. And no marvel. It's not a big deal. Not a big thing.
And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
Into an angel of light.
Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works.
Right, whose end according to their works. All these people being led that are so-called pastors and people leading their own people astray, the Most High got to them. He's going to make sure that they get theirs for leading his people astray to these lies. And that's all this is. That's all these doctrines are. Feel-good doctrines of lies. They're not truth. They're bringing out this truth. They would bring out that Caesar Bonjour, who he really is. That so-called Jesus was a black man. He was not white.
Revelations 2:24. As many as have not this doctrine, and which have not known the depths of Satan, as they speak, I will put upon you none other burden, but that which ye have already hold fast till I come. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end.
He that overcometh and keepeth his works unto the end, overcometh means these sufferings, these hard times, and overcometh unto the end.
To him will I give power over the nations.
And he will give power over the nations. So at that time, he's going to give his power over the nations.
And
How does
he
do that?
and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers.
That's right. So when we be set up in the kingdom, we're going to have slaves. And if they go off, we have a rod of iron. We're going to be whooping on them, letting them know to keep them in check.
Even as I received of my Father.
That's right. Jesus was a so-called black man. He was not white. That's a lie from you devils.
That's right.
Like Renaissance, that means a rebirth.
The rebirth of what? The rebirth of the so-called white man coming back into power.
Because what happened before then? The Byzantine Empire.
Which were Israelites, black men.
Who were ruling Europe at that time.
Oh, these guys. The guy in the movie.
Revelations 51:19. Jeremiah. Jeremiah 51:19. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things.
That's right. He was a former of all things, which goes back to our original state.
And Israel is the rod of his inheritance.
Israel is the rod of his inheritance.
The Lord of hosts, or the army of hosts, is his name. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war.
Israel is his battle axe and weapons of war.
For
when the
with-
time comes, he's going to give his spiritual powers to take care of the other nations. Go ahead.
For with thee I will break in pieces the nations, and with thee I will destroy the kingdoms, and with thee I will break in pieces the horse and his rider,
Which is the so-called police.
and with thee I will break in pieces the chariot and his rider.
That's talking about the military.
With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young.
So
And
spare not even matter if it's man or woman, old or young.
And with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. I also will break in pieces the shepherd and his flock. Psalms. Psalms 149. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud in their beds. Let the high praises of the power be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand.
That's right.
To
that
a-
time comes, Most High is going to use his people as a battle axe. And he's going to use us to wipe out these other nations, to wipe out the 2/3, and all these false preachers and prophets, and all you people that come up scoffing against this truth. The Most High is going to use his people, the elect, to take you out with the
That's
sword.
right.
Spiritual powers
To execute vengeance upon the heathen,
upon the heathen, which are you so-called white people and you other nations.
and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains.
And to put you so-called high elites, you politicians, you people way up,
You DAs and you judges,
in slavery.
to bind their kings and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the most high power of Israel.
That's right.
And we're not talking about the Israelis or them Khazar gutter rats. We're talking about the Israelites.